All right, so get this. We're going deep on this box office thing. Kind of crazy success with Pushpa. The Rule Part 2, you know that Indian film?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's making waves everywhere, and we've got this Livemint article about all the money it's making, and it's not even just about the numbers, you know? It's like a whole cultural thing happening, crossing over ambitions and cinema.
It's fascinating, like a case study almost.
Yeah.
You know, this film did something incredible, like really exclusive in Indian cinema.
Yeah, you're so right. Pushpa 2, as everyone calls it, it's like a global thing now, just smashing records, and the audience loves it. But before we get into all that, why it's happening, let's just start with like the basic, what is this thing?
Exactly, yeah, lay it out for everybody.
Okay, so Pushpa, The Rule Part 2, it's got Allu Arjun and Rashmika Mandanna.
Big names.
Huge, yeah. Two of the biggest names in Indian cinema. It came out December 5th, 2024. And here's where it gets interesting. It wasn't just like a regional release, it went global from the start.
Wow.
Dubbed versions in Hindi, Tamil, Kannada, Bengali, Malayalam. So smart, especially for a Tollywood film, right? Going multilingual like that meant they were going for a way bigger audience.
Yeah, it's like they just threw open the doors and said, everyone, come on in.
And they did.
They really did.
In droves. Like after only 20 days in theaters, Pushpa 2 made a ridiculous 1,083.46 crore.
In India?
Just India.
What?
Over 1.5 billion US dollars.
That's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And that's just India.
Yeah.
Globally, it made even more, or 1,506.7 crore, which is over 2 billion US dollars, and that was in just 19 days.
It's crazy. And on top of that, Pushpa 2 is only the third Indian film to ever pass 1,500 crore globally.
Wow.
Yeah, it's joined the ranks of like Bahubali 2, you know?
Right.
Which is like the only one for years that had that level of success.
And here's what's really interesting to me. It's also the highest grossing Hindi language film.
Really?
Yeah, it made like 600 crore in just 2 weeks, even though it was originally filmed in Telugu.
Oh, that's huge. That just shows you the power of crossover appeal.
Yeah, like it connected with Hindi-speaking audiences, even though it was dubbed.
Right, so it's not just about the action or the stars or whatever. There's something about the film that's connecting with people across languages and cultures.
Absolutely. And that's where it gets interesting. What is it about this movie that's grabbing everybody?
Well, I'm glad you asked because that's exactly what we're going to dive into in a minute. But first, we've got to talk about the impact on the stars of the film.
Oh, yeah. Allu Arjun and Rashmika Mandanna, their popularity has just exploded since the film came out, and not just like people talking about it.
Right.
Like the numbers.
Yeah, according to this article, Allu Arjun is ranked second on IMDb's most popular celebrity list, and Rashmika Mandanna is fifth.
Wow.
That's ahead of some huge Hollywood stars.
Yeah, their fame is directly tied to the film's success. You know, people love their performances.
Right.
And it's pushing the film even further.
It's a chain reaction for sure. And it's not just them either. Pushpa 2 sold an insane 18 million tickets on Book My Show. Yeah.
18 million. That's like the population of some countries.
I know.
It even beat KGF Chapter 2, the other big Indian film for tickets.
This is where it gets really fascinating to me. We've got these huge box office numbers, global recognition for the stars, and record-breaking ticket sales online.
It's hitting on all cylinders.
Yeah. It's like Pushpa 2 is succeeding on every single level.
And that's what makes this deep dive so interesting. You know? It's not just a blockbuster. It's a cultural phenomenon that's changing Indian cinema and how far it reaches globally.
And we are going to unpack all of that.
Yeah.
But first, a quick... Just kidding. We're diving straight in.
Let's go. Let's figure out what makes this thing tick, you know. What do you say? We start with the cultural impact?
All right, let's do it.
Pushpa 2's impact, it goes way beyond just like box office numbers.
Right.
You know, it's sparking all these conversations and trends.
Yeah.
Showing off all the amazing talent in the Indian film industry.
It really feels like a cultural shift is happening, don't you think? Indian cinema isn't just regional anymore. It's like a global force.
You got it. Pushpa 2 is a perfect example of how Indian films are grabbing global audiences. And it's not just about all the spectacle and action, although that's definitely part of it. It's the stories, the characters, you know, the depth of the emotion that's connecting with people everywhere.
And that reminds me, we were talking about how Pushpa 2 was the highest grossing Hindi film, even though it wasn't originally Hindi.
Oh, yeah.
What do you make of that?
That's the magic of dubbing and making it local, you know?
Right.
By making it accessible to Hindi speakers, they tapped into a huge market.
Yeah.
which obviously contributed to its success.
So it's not just about making a great film, it's about getting it to the right people.
That's it. You nailed it. It's a mix of artistic vision and marketing smarts. The filmmakers, they saw the potential of the Hindi market, and they made sure that dubbed version was top-notch.
Yeah, and it paid off big time. So with all this success, I have to wonder, is this a trend? Is Indian cinema going to keep blowing up globally?
I think it's a pretty strong sign of things to come.
Yeah.
Indian cinema has been gaining recognition globally for a while now. And Pushpa 2 is like the prime example of its power to capture international audiences.
So we're not just talking about a hit movie, we're talking about a possible turning point for the entire industry.
Exactly. Pushpa 2's success could clear the way for more Indian films to achieve global recognition and box office domination.
Now, you said before that this film is more than just the numbers and that it's got this cultural impact.
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Think about it. When a film like this blows up, it introduces the whole world to Indian culture. There's storytelling, their artistic expression.
Yeah.
It sparks curiosity, encourages people to explore a world they might not have known about before.
Like opening a window to a brand new world.
Exactly. And with that comes more understanding and appreciation for different cultures. You know, Pushpa 2 isn't just entertainment. It's building bridges between people across the globe.
That's powerful stuff. So beyond the film itself, what other factors are contributing to the global popularity of Indian cinema right now?
Well, there's a few things going on. The rise of streaming like Netflix and Amazon Prime has made it so much easier to watch international content.
Oh, yeah.
People want new stories, new perspectives, and Indian cinema has a ton of both.
So streaming has kind of democratized global entertainment in a way.
Exactly. It leveled the playing field, and films like Pushpa 2 can reach a much bigger audience than before.
Right, and we can't forget the quality of the filmmaking. Indian cinema has been making some really exceptional films lately.
Oh, yeah.
Pushing boundaries and grabbing audiences with their unique style and storytelling.
You're so right. The technical skill, the artistic vision, the pure talent in the Indian film industry is undeniable.
Yeah.
Films like Pushpa 2 are showcasing that to the world, and it's solidifying India's spot as a major player in global cinema.
It's a great time to be a fan of Indian films.
For sure. And I think this is just the start. The future of Indian cinema is bright.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see what stories and experiences they share with us next.
Me too. Pushpa 2 is just one example of the incredible talent and potential we see in Indian cinema. And as they reach more and more people around the world, who knows what kind of cultural impact they'll have next.
It's exciting to think about.
It is. But before we get ahead of ourselves, remember that record-breaking number of tickets sold online?
Oh, yeah.
We have to talk about Book My Show, the platform where Pushpa 2 blew everything out of the water.
True. Selling 18 million tickets on one platform, that's not a small thing.
Yeah.
It says a lot about how appealing the film is and how convenient online ticketing is for people today.
I mean, 18 million people buying tickets for Pushpa 2 on Book My Show. That's amazing.
It really is.
Yeah.
It shows how much people love the movie and how important Book My Show is, you know?
Yeah.
Especially for getting younger people who are online all the time to buy tickets.
Right. It's like the go-to place for everything, movies. Yeah. You can see showtimes, read reviews, and book tickets all on one site.
Yeah, it's like Fandango here.
Exactly.
For India. And you know what Pushpa 2's success on Book My Show shows?
What?
How traditional media and digital platforms are coming together.
Oh, interesting.
The lines are blurred now. This film is a perfect example of using both to get huge success.
So it's not just breaking box office records, it's breaking records online too. It's a total phenomenon across the board.
You got it. And I think it's safe to say we've covered pretty much every angle of Pushpa 2's crazy success.
Yeah.
I mean, this film is a global thing, breaking records, grabbing audiences, and showing the best of Indian cinema.
It really shows how powerful storytelling is and all the talent in the Indian film industry. Plus, people just want diverse and interesting content.
Yeah. As we wrap this up, I want to leave you with something to think about.
Okay.
We talked about the cultural stuff that's making Indian cinema popular globally. But what about individual curiosity? Do you think people are actively looking for new experiences, or are they drawn in by like the spectacle of films like Pushpa 2?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think it's a mix of both.
Yeah.
People are curious by nature, but they also need a spark something to get their imaginations going and bring them into a new world.
And Pushpa 2 definitely provides that.
Yeah.
With all the culture and the characters and the action.
Absolutely. So to everyone listening, if you haven't seen Pushpa 2 yet, go check it out. It's a wild ride, and it gives you a glimpse into the awesome world of Indian cinema. Even if you don't usually watch action films, this one might surprise you. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.